Hello! Today is a whip and sip while I continue working on Serene Siren Triptych from Mandie Manzano's art and purchase from Diamond Art Club. So grab your whip, grab whatever you are sipping, and come join me as I continue on this journey. This is Lisa from Diamonds and Stitches, and today I am drinking coffee again, and I am working on Serene Siren Triptych. I have been working on this. I only work on this on the weekends that I am at my boyfriend's house because I keep it here so that I have something to work on here, and I'm not transporting things back and forth, but also I don't know why I kept this one here. I should have done Magical Mama here as a surprise and taken this one home. But for whatever reason, I reversed them, and it is what it is. And yeah, I have been working on Magical Mama for the last week, and I am happy to say that I am over half done now on it. And of course, now my granddaughter has seen it. I originally had intended on making it a surprise and framing it and having it in her room one day as a surprise, but I blew that, and so she has now seen it and is very excited to watch the progress on it because it is a gorgeous piece. It really is. And I have been staying up the last few nights. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk about how I have, sorry, excuse me, I have been binge watching Call the Midwife. And I've been staying up until seriously 2 o'clock in the morning watching this show. I am just absolutely, does anybody watch that show? Like, I have had people who have said, oh, you need to watch Call the Midwife because it's a really great show. I'm like, yeah. Like, I have so many shows that I have going on, and I'm like, Well, why did I start watching it? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe because there's a new season. I don't know. It's on Netflix, and I'm hooked. Like, yeah, my mom was in medical before I was born, and she worked in a hospital, and before I was born, and my grandpa worked also in a hospital, and then I have a great aunt who actually worked as a nurse during the war, and so kind of working in hospitals is kind of in our I don't want to say in our blood, in our DNA, but when I was younger, I thought, oh, I totally wanted to be a nurse when I grew up. And so I did what we called candy striping, which is volunteering in the hospitals back home. And so in the summers, that's what I would do. And I worked a number of different areas in the hospital. It was kind of if you knew the person who was running the program, she would give you kind of the primo spots, so to speak. And everybody always wanted to work in children's because it was easy, it was fun, they got good food. Everybody on the ward was fairly happy. I mean, kids came in with issues and stuff, and so sometimes it was sad, but for the most part, it was fun. When you were younger, like I was a teenager doing this. So, nobody wanted to work on the senior citizen floor because they were mean. And I say that now as I've become the age that several people were, back when I was working in the hospital. And so anyways, for a few years, I actually worked in the summer on the children's ward. And I did not know this, but there was 2 separate places in the children's ward. One was the regular, place, and then the other was kind of like ICU area where more special cases, like kids who had cancer or had other types of health problems that were not just easily, like an appendix or a small little operation because they broke like their leg or something like that, right? Like these were way bigger issues. And I got put in that area one summer, and I have to tell you, it was the most depressing. It was a totally different vibe than the regular children's side. I mean, it made such an impression on me because I still remember it to this day. But it was darker over there. It was much more solemn. They didn't play games. A lot of these kids were in very, very bad medically, whether it was, a disease, there was abuse. Like there was a baby that had been thrown down the stairs repeatedly by her father and was in a full body cast. And this baby was no more than 6 months, I believe. And I just remember having to change her diaper the first time with a baby in a full cast. It's depressing and horrible, and I mean the situation was horrible, and it was just a very different vibe, and so I was not cut out for that. I was not cut out for that, and it takes a really, really special person to deal with what you see in that ward day in and day out. And I just did not have I was not that special person. And so they put me in what they called at the time, the old folks wing. And it was fun to a certain extent because I actually like the senior citizen population. I really do. I get along with them. I find their stories fascinating. I don't mind sitting and talking for hours, about things, and hearing them repeat stories I don't care about that. And I just find, their lives fascinating. And the hardships that they dealt with and what they did to overcome, and I just find them fascinating. And so anyways, I was put on this ward, and we had semi-private rooms, private rooms, and then the ward rooms. And I was in one of the ward rooms with the men. They separated men and women, and there was a couple of old men, and at the time I didn't realize what it was called, but it was dementia and Parkinson's. And there were two gentlemen in there that they disliked each other intensely. And one would sit in his chair and rock back and forth, and he would just keep saying, hey, 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 as he was rocking back and forth. Well, finally the other gentleman got so ticked off, and this happened regularly throughout the day. He would get so ticked off and he would say, "Hay is for horses, you idiot, now shut up." And I mean, it was just so amusing. I mean, as a teenager, and now, of course, looking back, it's sad, but they were funny little old gentlemen, and I enjoyed working that summer. However, I decided after the children's ward, the NICU, and emergency, which that's also an experience, and also just the everyday care of the elderly. It was not what I was cut out for. I liked numbers. I liked math, and I really wanted to go into business or be an accountant after I decided that nursing was not in my blood and working in a hospital. Well, it skipped a generation, and now it's my daughter, and she works in a hospital, and she loves that kind of thing. And she went to She's an MA, so a medical assistant, but she has now gotten into management role, more management role. But when she was doing her internship and then some of her first jobs, she actually went to places where it was, I would consider hard and very emotionally draining, and she thrived in that. She loved it, loves it. And so I think that it's awesome. I'm curious to see where my granddaughter will end up, because she's 8, and right now she wants to be a hairdresser rock star. That's her whole goal in life, and nothing wrong with that, right? So we'll see if she ends up also in some kind of medical workforce. I'm still dreaming of a doctor in my family. Didn't happen with any of my 4 children. I'm holding out hope for the grandchild. Who knows? There's always hope, right? So I forgot where I was going with this. I do it all the time. Call the midwife. Haha, that's where I was going. So when I started watching this show, I'm like, whoo, there's so many things that, I remember, like my aunt talking about, and these things, did it happen after the war? I think it happened after the war. Call the midwife, like where they put the series. I don't remember. I'm on season 2. But it's set in England and or London area, and just the abject poverty that so many of these families lived in, and they deal with like all of these issues of miscarriages and birth control and tuberculosis and like all kinds of issues that they dealt with back in that time frame that we just so take for granted now, and it's just a really, if you have not watched it and you're looking for a show to binge watch, I got a lot done while I mostly listened to the show, and every once in a while would glance up. But it is a good show. I think if I'm right, I think that there's 8 seasons of it, and I'm just on season 2, and I'm so invested in them and their families and the nuns and what's going on, and it's such a cool show. I'm highly enjoying it. So, and I'm getting a lot done also. However, I should not be staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning because I do work, and I've been dragging the last few days, and I should not be doing that. So, and of course, we've been late to school for the last week because I have not gotten up in time, which means I have not gotten my granddaughter up in time to go to school. And so we've been a little late in the mornings, but school's almost done, so really it's all right. Plus we have the best in-depth conversations because my granddaughter has her speed. And it doesn't matter if we are behind or not. There is no rush in that child. And so I've just finally resigned myself to the fact that we're not going to get there any sooner by me yelling, screaming, and her crying, because then both of us are angry and upset. And so I just really, I've chilled out immensely since being a parent, because I'll tell you what, if any of my 4 children did that, whoo, I mean, you got to school on time. I didn't care if you were going in your jammies or not, but we were going to school and it was going to be on time. Well, this one, I'm like, okay, honey, if you need to finish your breakfast, oh, you have to go potty again. Well, all right, yeah. I'm like, hey, hun, let's get dressed. And then I find her fooling around in her closet trying to figure out, what to wear. And So I'll make suggestions, and no, she's very definite, and yep, she's got her own speed. So it's really funny being a grandparent versus a parent. And I find, when I talk to my daughter and things are happening with her, and I see so much of myself as a younger parent when my daughter parents her daughter, and how different I am as a grandparent, and what I would tolerate from her, which I would not tolerate for my own kids. So it's a very different role. It's very odd to me, but I really enjoy being a Grammy. Oh my gosh. I mean, I enjoyed being a parent. I still do. I mean, my kids are my kids, and I'm always going to be their mom, but their parent. But I just enjoy this time of her and her thought process, and I don't want to say that it's like starting over, because it's not. She's not my child, but it is a different dynamic for sure, being a grandparent, and still having the responsibility, but not really having the responsibility. So it's pretty cool. I like it. Plus, she's a lot of fun. She's a challenge, legit a challenge, but she is a lot of fun, and I adore her. In our conversations, she's an only child who has grown up in a family of adults, basically. And so while she is still a child, she's very, very adult-like in a lot of her thought processes and the way she does things throughout the day. She's a lot more mature sometimes. So then when she acts her age and she does something, we're so blown away by it because it's not the norm. And so I always have to kind of sometimes take a step back and go, whew, yeah, nope, she's 8. This is totally appropriate. She's 8. And, take a step back. Right now we are dealing with some bullying issues, and the consequences of what happens when either you or a friend is bullied. And my granddaughter is very literal. She is very, very, very literal. When you tell her something, by golly, it needs to happen. And if you promise something, there better be, there's death. Like, you just don't break it. And so she's got a little friend slash not friend at school who is not always the nicest, and she will pinky swear things and then break that pinky swear, and my granddaughter gets devastated about that. And or lies are happen, and so she gets she's very adult-like in her responses a lot. She's very down to earth too. Like, if something inappropriate is happening, like a little kid, what she feels is inappropriate. So a little kid is sad in school and cries, and she'll look at him and go, why are you crying like that? Like, there's nothing to cry over, and we don't say those things to her. So it's so funny that she's very black and white, very black and white. So the other day she was tattling on one of her uncles. She likes to play after school on the swing sets, and her uncle does not always, when he picks her up, does not always allow her to play after school, because he wants to get back home and play on his game or whatever he's doing, and get her ready for snack and all those kinds of things that he needs to do. And so he doesn't always allow her to play. And so she was tattling on him the other day. And so in our house, my kids growing up, they knew that if you tattled on a sibling, the tattler was the one who actually got in trouble, because your whole point on tattling is to get the other person in trouble, right? And there were many times that I would find out that the tattler was not telling the truth, because they were always, well, again, the whole goal, get your sibling into trouble. So they all knew growing up that you didn't tattle. Like, if there was something that was true and you needed to say, then you came and you told the truth. You didn't tattle just for the sake of tattling and to get your sibling into trouble. And because you were the one who was also going to get into trouble. And so when she tattles, my kids are like, ugh, right? And so her uncle said to her, tattlers are the ones who get punished. And she goes, well, I'm not tattling. I'm reporting the news. Like, it's news. You're reporting the news. And she's like, well, yeah, I'm reporting to a responsible adult what was happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's killing me. She's killing me. She is truly a funny little thing. Adore her. Adore her. So, yes. Well, I hope everybody has been having a great week. It has been nice and warm here. I live in Washington State, and we actually had a heat wave. We had a couple of days that we had record temperature highs, which frankly is too hot for me. I thank goodness every day that I have air conditioning, and I also have air conditioning at work, and so it's really quite nice because I like the warmth. I don't like to be a hot puddle, sweaty mess. And so, but yeah, we did. We had some really nice record kind of days, and now we're into June, almost the middle. Oh my gosh, is it already the middle of June? I think it is. And it sounds like our summer is going to be hot, which this will be an interesting summer for me, because the last, I guess, 10 summers, the last 10 summers, I've been a swim mom. I've been a swim mom of a child who did summer swim and then year-round swim. And when you do summer swim, most of the pools that you summer swim at, actually all the pools that you summer swim at are outside pools. And so you are outside for swim meets. And I always remember my son, he would, he wore jammers. He wore swim jammers. He refused to wear a Speedo. He wouldn't do it. And all the boys in his age group, they all wore jammers. Like, it wasn't until you got to be like maybe 15, 16, 17, then the boys kind of transitioned to a Speedo, or they, for practice, and then for like actual meets, they would wear a skin suit. And so, but my son, no, he was not. And the boys in his group that he had, gone up the ladder with, most of them, I would say 95% of them didn't wear a Speedo either. They all wore jammers. And so my son during the summer would have the most interesting tan line, because it was a jammer tan line. Like, he was in the water so often, and he tans really nicely. He's got good pigment in his skin. And so he would tan really, really nicely. And so, yeah, he would have this awesome jammer tan line. And of course, he also, that's all he wore all summer long. He didn't wear clothes. He wore a swimsuit. And, to this day, he didn't wear pants. Like, he wore shorts or, something, because, I don't know. He just didn't wear pants. And, which sounds funny, but when you're a swim parent, I think you understand. Anyway, so yeah, he would have this this awesome tan line, jammer tan line, and he browned up beautiful. Like, yeah, he was just a nice little color in the summertime. And so this will be my first summer that I am not a swim parent out on the deck, either cheering my child on, or I used to officiate in the swim world. I was a swimmer back in the day, and by I was a swimmer, I tried drowning in my neighbor's pool, the Downses, when I was younger. In fact, Mr. Downs had to jump into the pool, not once, but twice, with his cowboy boots on and his good watch and his clothes to come and save me, not once, but twice. And so, you know, I was pretty much told that I wasn't going to be a swimmer, but when we moved, when I was 10 or 12, 10 maybe, we moved to another suburb in Alberta, and really close to it was a YMCA, and I got very involved in volunteering and hanging out at the Y during my summers, and I would fool around in the pool and gained some confidence and started swimming and was doing really well. And then I also did synchronized swimming for quite a while, and got good enough at it that I used to teach synchronized swimming at the Y during the summer. So that was kind of fun. But anyways, I started learning how to swim very well. And so then when I got to high school, there was a swim team at high school, and I had to have some sort of gym credits. And so I thought, well, I'll just join the swim team. Well, I actually enjoyed it, liked it, and did really well. And so then I joined a club for a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. My parents were not as involved in my swimming as I was in my son's. In fact, my mom didn't like the smell of chlorine, which I don't know what the smell of chlorine is, because I think it's in my bloodstream now, and I have no idea when people say, oh my gosh, the smell of chlorine, and I'm like, wow, what are we talking about? Unless it's straight up bleach, I got nothing. And so I did not certainly go as far as my son went in swimming. So anyways, when he got involved in swimming, and he was very good at it, he has natural talent, and you know, he's one of those kids that you kind of hate because he's got this natural talent but doesn't use it. And I think I'm gonna do, let's see here, we're gonna do a color change. Let's go and do ones. No, actually, we're gonna do this little, ones. Sorry. Yes, he's one of those kids that you kind of hate because he's got natural talent, but he was not competitive. Competition was not a big thing for him. That's not to say that he didn't enjoy winning, and that there were some boys that he would compete against that he just didn't fundamentally like. And so if he could beat them, that made him proud. And then there were some times that, you know, obviously he wanted like personal best time so he could get up to the next level. But on the whole, he didn't go into a race and go, yep, I'm gonna beat ya. Like, that wasn't his mentality. And if he got tired throughout part of the race, he was like, all right, well, now I'm gonna slow-mo it because I'm tired and I can't find that second gear to get into. And I'm not interested. So, meh. You know, and it was funny because we would see the progression when he swam. He was not a long distance swimmer, definitely not a long distance swimmer. He was definitely short. He liked nothing more than a 200. Anything after a 200, it was a hopeless case. But anyways, he had natural talent. He's got beautiful technique. He's got beautiful strokes. His coaches loved seeing him in the water, but he just didn't have that extra gear that, that you need in order to become super great. And so he was happy doing what he did, and that's what matters. And so it was fun. I was able to be on the deck and be, kind of involved, and it was a him and me thing. Like, my ex-husband did not love swimming. He didn't like the smell of chlorine and the humidity at the pool. And so really it was my son and I who, spent a lot of time together. And so we have a very close relationship, not just because of swim. We had one before, but it kind of became more solidified, I guess, when I just naturally spent more time, because of swim. And I'm not one to sit around and do nothing. And so I got involved in swim meets on the deck level and became an official. And really, I became an official because I found out when you timed. So I started out as a timer because I just wanted to be involved and be on the deck and, be able to cheer my child on and all of those things. And so I would be on the deck timing. You got wet because, the kids, they soak you, especially those big kids. You'd be surprised. Little ones make very large splashes too. I was getting wet. Well, one day I was watching these people in these white shirts and blue pants walk by with plates of food. And I'm like, they're on deck with me and I don't get plates of food. What is going on? So I asked one of them and he's like, oh, I'm an official and they feed us at swim meets. And I'm like, say what now? And he was like, yeah. Sippies. And I was like, okay, how do I become an official? Because I'm all about eating free food, especially when somebody else prepares it. And he's like, oh, let me tell you about. So that's how I started to be an official and be on deck. And I got up to a certain level that I really, I enjoyed being part of the swim meets. It's a small community, even though it's large, but it's a small community. Everybody knows everybody, and you get to know the coaches from other teams and kids, and and you just get to know the kids really, really well. Excuse me, sorry. You just get to know them really well, and what they do and how they act and how they swim and what their motivations are and who their parents are. And it's a lot of fun. And the psychology in swimming too fascinates the heck out of me, because I'm always fascinated by parents who believe that their child is the next Olympian. And it just amazes me watching how they interact with their child, and how their child interacts with them, and how things go before a meet, after a race, before a race, just the whole, and then watching these children grow up and then seeing that shift, like my child was in it for 10 years. So he was 10. No, I'm sorry. He was 8 when he started. And he finished last year. He finished summer swim last year and he was 18. So for 10 years, we were part of swim club, summer swim club. Summer swim club and club swim is a little different. Every parent believes that their child, when they get into the summer swim team, that they are so awesome and they're so great, and truly they are going to be the next Olympian. And they have this, one-on-one relationship with the summer swim coach, because they're on deck and quite accessible. And it's only 8 weeks out of the summer, and so it's just a little bit different of a mentality than year-round club swim is. And And so, yeah, it's really fun watching. And I just remember the kids that my son started with at 8 and how the parents were like, oh my gosh, my little Johnny is, the best swimmer ever and beat this kid's time. And, oh, they keep dropping time like that. And they're just going to be, I'm going to put them in club swim and they're going to be so great, blah, blah, blah. And then 5-6 years later, the child's no longer even swimming anymore. And, yeah, it's just funny watching the progression or the mentality a little bit. I love psychology. I just love it. And the inner thought workings of, I just enjoy it. So it's been fun watching my child swim. And I always knew that while he had natural talent and he was good, he just wasn't going to, he just didn't want more. He didn't want to swim in the Olympics. He didn't want notoriety. He liked kudos for, getting a best time. And he liked swimming, but it's hard work, man. It's hard work. And when you're up at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning for 6 o'clock practice, it's dedication. It's dedication and a lot of hard work. So we did that for a lot of years. And I really enjoy that aspect. And I actually miss being on DAC with my official friends and doing swim meets. And I thought after my child was done that I might continue, just being that helpful person on deck and continue doing it. But my life has just kind of gone in different directions. And my granddaughter I had thought was going to be a swimmer. No, she is not going to be a swimmer. She may swim for fun. She just, nope. She will obviously teach her how to swim because honestly, I think that swimming is a life-saving skill, and you should know how to swim, especially when, there's so much water around us. People like to go out on boats, the lake. If you don't know how to swim, you become a hazard. And so I think that it's very important to at least have some sort of skill and learn how to at least be able to get yourself back to shore, safety, wherever, land. So I will teach her. She will always have some kind of knowledge on swimming. She likes water. She loves to be in the water. She just is not coordinated nor has the it is not her gift. Not her gift. That's okay. She's got so many other gifts. So that's okay. It's all good. I'm not sad about it at all that I am not going to be the chlorine-ified in my blood parent, grandparent anymore. Maybe future grandkids. We'll see. There's hope. I don't know. Don't care. It's okay. But I do miss it. I miss being out there. But I have utilized that time in other ways now. So it's all good. So this is a Diamond Art Club canvas. Mandie Manzano Designs Serene Siren Triptych. Well, today I went on and I had a look on my emails and I noticed I had this email that said VIP blah, 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 new release. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't actually buy anything in the last release. I was going to. There was a piece I really liked and I was going to buy it. And I don't know, I like it and I intend on buying it in the future. What was it? It was in the last release. I'm so bad at names, you guys. I'm sorry. If I'll link what I was talking about in the description box below. But anyways, I chose not to buy it just because I have so many diamond paintings right now on the go, and I want to get this one and Magical Mama done before I bought anything else. I have a collab that I am going to be doing with another YouTuber, and I'm waiting for my collab piece to come. And so, you know, I had enough on my plate, and I thought, well, let me just save some money, get these things done, and then framed, and then, you know, see what there is in other sales, whatever. Okay, so, you know, I saw the email, clicked the link, and went, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Like, legit, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. When I did my unboxing a month ago, so May 10th, was it May 10th? I think it was May 10th that they did another release, the first release, or a new release. And in that one, or maybe it was May 10th was when I uploaded the video. I don't remember, but anyways, it's when I bought Hello Beastie, the Snow Queen, and Siren, yeah, something like that. Anyways, you know, basically, Maleficent, Elsa, and Ariel. And so I look, okay, I'm sorry, let me back up. When I did the unboxing of those 3, potentially 4 kits, I said when I undid Snow Queen, oh my gosh, if, and I do mean if, Diamond Art Club and Mandie Manzano release Anna, I will have to buy her because my granddaughter loves, and I mean loves, Anna from Frozen. She loves her. She loves her more than she likes Elsa. She's always been an Anna fan. I don't know why. Maybe because Anna has red hair. Her Grammy has red hair. I'm not sure. She just always loved Anna. She wants an Anna braid. She wants, you know, she just really likes Anna. And so, of course, when I saw Snow Queen, you know, I had to buy that because she does like Elsa. And, I was like, oh, well, in the future, you know, I was thinking like, you know, 6 months or maybe more. Maybe there would be the potential that Anna would be released, and I would have Elsa done at that time, and I could get Anna and get her started. No. When I went on this morning and looked at my emails, clicked that link, Anna was staring at me in the face, and I was like, well, dang it. So I had to go buy her. Yes, I did. I was in the, you know, the preview VIP. Here she is. And so she will be flying her way to me, and I expect that she'll be on my doorstep Wednesday, Thursday next week. And so I will do an unboxing of that. Now, Elsa and Anna are going to be surprises for my granddaughter. They're huge. Oh my God, they're huge. They are very huge. They are going to be by far the biggest diamond paintings I've ever done. So, and I expect that they will be very, very expensive to frame. So, but I would like to get that done in this decade. So when I am done Serene Siren and Magical Mama, I am going to start on one of the 2, whether it is Snow Queen or Anna. That's not her name. I don't remember what she was named that's not what Diamond Art Club calls her. But Elsa and Anna. when I'm finished these two, one of those two will be started. And so I will put together a video on my progress on those ones as well. And they will be secret because I want my granddaughter to be super surprised over those. And of course, Frozen 2 is coming out. When's it coming out? Like soon, isn't it? Sometime this year. And I saw a trailer the other day, and it looks very dark, though. And so we'll see. Yeah, it almost looks like the light went out of Arendelle. I think that's what it's called. And their city, their country, whatever country, right? Arendelle. So it looks very dark and might be a little scary. My granddaughter does not love scary and dark things. And yeah, so I'm hoping, okay, that's not working out. I'm hoping that we will see it and be able to, sit through the whole entire thing. Chances are probably not if it's a little scary and dark and deep. Not her favorite thing. However, she did go and see Aladdin. Yes, Aladdin. And she liked it. We were a little afraid she wasn't going to be able to sit through the whole thing, but she loved it apparently. And so maybe we'll see. We will see. So I think with the release of Frozen and me getting both of those done and hung in her room is going to be, she's going to love it. Love it. So, and it's funny because I think that most of the diamond paintings I've bought, more than half of them are for her. And yeah, weird. Though I do have a couple today when I bought what the heck's her name? Anna. I also bought one for my boyfriend that I think he's going to love. And I'm going to have to do that one in secret at my house so he doesn't see that. But I think he's going to love it. I think it's his genre and what he will like. And I think he'll really appreciate it. So, yeah. So two are coming to me. And as soon as they are here, I will do an unboxing and you'll see what I got. So I'm kind of excited about that. Yes. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I am using a new pen today. Remember I told you in my last video, one of my last videos, where's that other pen? Oops, here it is. I have been using, when I first started diamond painting, I just used the regular, pens that come in the kit. This is a Diamond Art Club pen that comes in the kit with a grippy. But these are the types of pens that I was using when I first started. Well, they're coated with something, and so my skin's sensitive, super sensitive, and they don't love the whatever is coated on those pens. And so my fingers would actually break out where I was holding the pen and itch really badly and flare up, and it was horrible. Like at the point I truly was thinking I was going to have to give up diamond painting. I put on gloves, for a little while I was using those pens, and it didn't seem to help. Like I was struggling. And so I had gone on YouTube. I was watching some YouTubers and they were using these different pens, and I found out that they were polymer clay pens. So I went on Etsy, found a seller, bought 2 pens from a seller, and I loved using them. Well, I have misplaced those pens. I have no idea where they are. Like, crazy enough, I have no idea where they are. And so then I was watching another YouTuber, Diamond Art Addiction. If you don't follow her, you should go check her out. She was one that I did it as a shout out in my last video. And I enjoy her. She's very down to earth. She is real. Yeah, I enjoy her a lot. And so if you have not already checked her out, go check her out. She's fun. And so anyways, I was watching her diamond paint, and she did a review on this company called Diamond Pens, pens with a Z at the end. They have a Facebook group. I will link it in my description below. And you request to join the group, and they hold sales 3 times a week. And then they do some pop-ups during the week randomly for auction sales. And so, and the way they do their sales is really interesting. I love it. I covered that in a different video, but in a nutshell, they will post, X amount of pens. If you are interested in that pen, you place your name in there by saying me please, or yes please, or whatever the case is. In expressing your interest in the pen, and then at the end of the sale, they will random name generate for that pen, and then if your name comes up in the random generator, you get that pen. And so it's nice, it's fair, it's not a case of they start a sale at 1 o'clock and it goes to 1:10, and you might be busy, or you don't have, or they just start a sale and until everything's gone, right? Which a lot of people will do. They will put things up and it's first come, first serve. And that is great if you are not busy and you have the time, and something didn't arise during the time of that sale. And so this is just a little more fair of a way, I guess, to hold a sale and be able to have the opportunity to buy a pen. And then the other thing is that you can get on their custom list. They have a large custom list right now, I hear. I think she updated it this morning, Jennifer did. And I think she said that there were 94 people in the queue. That's a lot of people who are waiting for a custom, for the opportunity of a custom. I am one of them. So I'm looking forward to when that happens. But anyways, they hold these sales 3 times a week. And I don't go into every sale. I don't necessarily get my name drawn in every sale that I go into either. And so, in 3 of the sales that I was in, I did get my name drawn for pens. This was the first one that I showed that I got, and I love this pen. I've been using it. Well, yesterday I did an unboxing of my mail whatever you want to call it, and I had 2 different orders of pens. One that I did from Happy Hippo Finds, that I bought some pens for my granddaughter because we're going to do a little collab together, and she's going to be my special little big guest next week for some diamond painting. And then this is another one that I got from Diamond Pens. And this one is called Pomegranate Crush, and I'm loving it. It's a different shape, so there's several different shapes that they have for their pens, and this was the first shape, so it's a little different. And then there's this one. So I started using this one today on this whip to see how I like it. I love it. I love the shape. I like the weight. They're just really, really nice pens. They're $25 in the sale, Canadian. And so, you convert that to US dollars and it's less. And so really by the time that I pay for shipping and the cost of the pen, it was the original cost of the pen. So that's pretty awesome. And I really like this pen. So if you are not a member of their group and you like these pens, or you're intrigued by these pens, it's an acrylic blank that they purchase, and then they put it on the lathe and they make it into a shape that they've set out. I want to say that there are 12 separate shapes of pens that they can create, and they just make a bunch, and then and there's a really interesting video out that I think the name is Dale Melissa Together. It's a family company, so Jennifer is the one who runs the auctions and sends you your invoices and keeps you all up to date on things. And then Dale Melissa, I think Dale is the one who does the pen shaping, and then Melissa, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't remember what Melissa's role is, but she posts every once in a while. I'm sorry if you watch this video. It's not like I don't. I'm horrible at remembering things. So, but every once in a while I do see her post, you know, things and pictures and that kind of thing. So it seems to be a family company, and they do things together, and I think that it's really, really awesome. I like them. And of course they're Canadian, and I'm Canadian, so who's not going to support a Canadian company? I definitely am. And I think that they're reasonably priced, beautiful products, great customer service. Can't say enough about them. Like truly, truly cannot say enough about them. And I'm impressed by their fairness and everything. So the other funny thing that happened yesterday was they had this pop-up auction, and I was shopping. And I just really quickly went into my Facebook and I saw this pop-up auction, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so, you know, I did a bid, and of course I got outbid right away. And I was like, okay, all right. So I did another bid. And at this time, I am now in a store, which I cannot say because somebody is probably listening. And but if you're on my Instagram, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I was in a store and I was trying to purchase something, and this auction is going on at the same time. And there's a person who was outbidding me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm highly competitive. My children may not be, but I am. Like, seriously, I will run you over for a 10-cent party light candle at a party light party. And, or, you know, if there's a spatula or something to be won at Pampered Chef, by golly, I am going to get that thing. Like, I will run you over for it. And, so, you know, when I kept getting outbid, I was like, oh, heck no, I'm going to have this thing. So I'm trying to purchase this thing. I'm talking to the guy. I'm negotiating a price match from Amazon. And, you know, he's telling me he's not going to do it, and that, well, he could give me maybe a percentage off. And I'm like, you know, and in the meantime, I'm like refreshing like a mad woman, right, on this thing, trying to like figure out how in the heck I am going to win this thing. So it closed at 5 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock my time. And so I am like practically counting seconds when my phone went to, you know, 4:57 to 4:58. And I'm like, okay, so 4:58 to 4:59, 4:59 to 5. And I'm literally counting seconds, right? And I'm refreshing to see if anybody has done another bid. I'm telling you what, I got it down to the wire. I did stealth mode. I was like, yes, I'm going to get this thing. So I got it, and I put my final bid in, and I knew it. And then just as I did it, like 4 or 5 seconds later, it turned 5 o'clock. And so I was like, closed, right? Well, the person who was outbidding me went and did another bid like 2 minutes after mine, right? And I knew that my timestamp was going to say 5 o'clock. And, but of course, to make it fair, you know, Jennifer had to go and timestamp and make sure that the time was right and everything. But I purchased it. Yes, I did. I won that puppy, and I'm super thrilled about it. So, and so sorry to the person who did not win. But I did notice that they had another pop-up, which I missed. And for another gorgeous pen, and I completely missed it. And that person who was outbidding me won that one. So kudos, because you got a beautiful pen, as did I. So, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. So if you haven't checked them out, check them out. I highly recommend these pens. They are very nice. Their shapes are nice. You know, the ones that I've received so far. I have one more coming that I won. I was able to purchase through the sale, and I've got my name in on 16 of them today, so I'm keeping fingers crossed that I'm going to win one of those 16 if my name comes up. Fingers crossed. There's a lot of people involved, and so yeah. And then I've got to slow down because I need to save some money. I have a lot going on right now, so in the diamond painting world, and yeah. So anyways, I guess with that, let's just finish up these last little ones. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me as I diamond painting, as I continued working on my diamond painting on Serene Siren Triptych. You probably are not going to see this for a few weeks because I won't be here for a few weeks. We'll be at my house and doing some other things. So next week I will have a special little guest, and you'll see what we're gonna do together. I'm excited about it, as is she. That since she found out, she has asked me every single day when it's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, what we're gonna do. She is dying of curiosity. So that is going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then I will be doing some more progress on Magical Mama and hope to have that done and continue as a whip with me on that one with you, and potentially get that done and framed by the end of the month. How great would that be, right? That's what I'm thinking. So, yes, without further ado, thank you for joining me. If you are new, I hope you subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.